Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. And I would like to say congratulations. You've made it to 5 p.m. Okay, you are the tough ones. I started here at quarter to 8, 20 to 8, and I saw slowly people filtering out. But you are the tough ones. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. I did try and sell myself earlier. I was like, Ninja, stay. And then they were like, no, sorry, gotta go. Damn it. One of the shout outs was to Anas, but I think he was sitting there. Oh no, he's still there. Anas, this is a shout out to you, my fellow brother. I am also a person with cerebral palsy, but I've got cerebral palsy with hemiplegia. I'm going to go into that just now. And like Samkelo was saying, most of my job is done, but I did know that this was going to be the case. So my speech or my presentation today is going to be a little bit different because I knew you guys are going to be data heavy, your brains are going to be a bit fried, so mine's going to be a little bit more enlightened. So I promise that today is not going to drain you. I promise that my speech is going to rather leave you with a feeling, a perspective, and hopefully a spark. Victor Hugo once said that nothing is as powerful as an idea whose time has come. And I have a big idea that I want to share with you today. But before I get to that big idea, I want to share a bit of my disability journey with you. When I was injured in a car accident, I was 6 months old, so I was a little baby. And I was injured in a car accident that changed my life. My dad was killed in the car accident. My mother received some serious injuries. My brother was outside the car at the time. He watched the whole accident happen, and so he had psychological scars for many years to come. My grandparents died in the car accident, and I went flying through the windscreen. My head split in half, and I sustained serious brain damage. This is the start of my disability journey at 6 months old. Now, this was a big deal for my family and I had to face the world in slightly different ways. So, this is me as a baby. I used to bum shuffle everywhere to move around because obviously I couldn't crawl. Now, this was cute, right? I know. But the problem is that everywhere I went, I used to rip the lining of my nappy, leaving behind the dreaded fluff trail. Now, why do I say the dreaded fluff trail? Because I couldn't get away with anything. You just had to follow the trail of fluff. Now, jokes aside, my life has been a story of resilience, creativity, and rebellion. But not the kind of rebellion that breaks rules, but rather the one that says, watch me do what you think I can't do. This is why I'm the rebel ninja. I'm a rebel because I go against what people say I can't do. I'm a ninja because one moment I'm not there, and the next moment there I am doing my thing. Now, you may ask, what is my thing as a 41-year-old white guy with disability? And I'll tell you, my list is quite long. I'm going to mention but a few. I am a salsa dancer, business owner, I've gone skydiving, scuba diving, I teach, I coach, I professionally speak, and a whole lot more. I wasn't supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be dead. But I am here. And that's my why. At 34, I decided to take cognizance of my life because why wait till 40 to have a midlife crisis when you can have it now? So I didn't go out and buy a fancy car or anything. I just said, am I having the biggest impact on the world that I'm meant to have? And the answer was no. I was impacting because I'm a teacher. I impact every day, but not at the level that I wanted to. And that's why I started coaching and speaking professionally, to help people change their thinking and create their own realities. Now, it's time to talk about DEI, or more accurately, why it isn't working. We have the policies, we have the frameworks, and we definitely have the tick boxes. But what we don't have is the breakthroughs. Right now, teams are diverse but not cohesive. We have the policies, but we don't have belonging. Simkelo. We have people with disabilities being employed. The numbers have increased, and that's great to see. But they're being employed, but not included. And disability, as we've heard so often today, is often the last thing to be considered, if considered at all. Diverse teams often underperform when they don't feel included or when they don't feel like they belong. And homogeneous teams often outperform diverse ones, not because they're better, but because they're more comfortable. They know how each other thinks, and they know the same system language. But people with disabilities and other minority groups don't live in a comfortable world. So, we become creative by necessity. We problem solve because we must, and we innovate daily just to participate. Enter my Coke bottle challenge. Now I know what you're thinking is, what the hell is a Coke bottle challenge? I don't have a Coke bottle, but do you mind quickly lend me the bottle, please? Thank you. Sure. Yes. Imagine that this is a Coke bottle. Okay, I was going to try and get a Coke bottle today, but I couldn't get to the shops in time. So this is a Coke bottle. Okay, not a can, a Coke bottle. I have 7 different ways as a person with a disability with one hand to open a Coke bottle. As able-bodied people sitting here today, I ask you, how many ways do you have? And can you figure out the 7 ways? If you can, please contact me and I will send you a Coke bottle. Now, the question is, what does this lead to? As a person with a disability, this leads to resilience, ingenuity, and innovation. But why don't companies tap into this? It's pretty simple. They see disability first and the person second. They see risk first and potential second. And they see the paperwork, policy barriers, etc. And they see culture second. So DEI remains the same. Policy without practice, diversity without belonging, and unfortunately, inclusion without a voice. I'm a teacher by profession and by passion, and I live on the edge every day. I teach maths. For almost 20 years, I've never been teased once. And you might ask why. It's because on day one, I tell them my story. I explain my disability, and then after that, I open the floor for questions. Any questions. By doing this, I remove the mystery, and by removing the mystery, I remove the fear. And by removing the fear, I create belonging. And this is what happens. Belonging changes everything. And that's why I started coaching and speaking and helping people, especially people with disabilities, because it is with this that we can change the world. I've coached interns, team leaders, people with and without disabilities. I've coached quadriplegic students and more, both with and without disabilities. And I've seen people transform. I've seen people change, not because of compliance, but because someone believed in them, saw them, listened to them, and held space for them. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please. The big idea. Okay. I came up with this model a few years ago, and I really believe in it. BIG stands for belonging, innovation, and growth. And DEI reshuffled along with accessibility and, very importantly, advocacy. I think I'm not really going to talk about all of those because a lot of it's been said today, but I am going to quickly talk about advocacy. I think, and I mentioned it earlier if you were here, there is a relationship between the responsibility of the employer, the organization, the company, and the person with the disability. I believe that both of them should come together and co-create, as has been said, the solution, the accommodations, etc. Because if we do that, it can be a lot cheaper and it can shift people in the right direction. Belonging means psychological safety and the ability to be yourself without fear. As Joy said earlier, you don't have to negotiate how much they want to reveal of themselves. Innovation is what happens naturally when people with different perspectives feel empowered to contribute. And growth is a result, not just for individuals, but for teams and organizations. The big idea is powerful because it's human-centered, it's practical, and it's rooted in lived experience. So I know you've always got to leave them with something to go home with. So I'm leaving you with 3 things. First thing, just ask. Before assuming, ask. Before helping, ask. Before avoiding that difficult conversation, ask. Before wanting to withdraw and silence, ask. People with disabilities want dialogue most of the time. Conversation before compliance. Policies matter, but people matter more. Disclosure should not be an HR form, but rather a human conversation. Redesign the job, not the person. Most of us aren't looking for massive changes. The often smallest accommodations make the biggest change, and that's the most important thing. Inclusion isn't an action. It's not something we achieve. It's something you practice every day, not once a year, not once a time, not once ever. It's an ongoing thing. Martin Luther King had a dream. I stand before you today with a big idea. The big idea won't always be easy, won't always be comfortable, but it will always be worth it. Because when people belong, when they innovate, everybody will grow. Ladies and gentlemen, the truth is simple. Any big idea will not change the world unless you take action. And I invite you today, as all attendees, individuals, teams, organizations, companies, and alike, to take up my idea and rather not just leave it as that, but turn it into a big difference. Thank you.